6 months in, and I only have 6 left before I run out of money. If that one video doesn't come soon, I'm back to 9 to 5. As someone who quit his job to go all in on YouTube, this is me reflecting on my progress so far. I'll talk about all the mistakes I've made, what I've learned, and what I'll change in the next phase of Hanush. So without further ado, let's begin the 6-month retrospective of my channel as an early-stage content creator. This may sound strange, but almost nobody in my life knows about this channel. I chose to keep it private,
to disappear and transform myself.
I told my colleagues that I was going to work on my thing, but never told them what that thing that made me quit my job actually was. When I had to tell someone, like my closest friends or my ex-boss, I told them I was going to build an audience starting with YouTube. Only my girlfriend knew from the start, and she's the only one who has seen all of my videos, including the private ones that really suck. I shared the channel with my parents 3 months in, and with only one of my childhood friends about 5 months in. Now, you're supposed to show people your startup even if it sucks so you can get feedback and iterate rapidly, but for me, there's been a self-fulfilling prophecy of not getting the responses I wanted. I made myself believe that sharing would somehow take the magic away, not because I was afraid of judgment, but because I knew most people wouldn't even care to judge. And indeed, every time I told someone, it's been underwhelming. I wanted them to roast me and tell me why it's painful to watch my videos. I wanted the exact opposite of praise and validation. But they seemed to feel like they had to be nice, and didn't really give any solid feedback, which made me feel like I was better off not showing them and keeping it a secret. On the flip side, there's a certain kind of accountability that comes with sharing your work with someone who actually cares about it. For example, my mom asked me a couple of times if I was going to post that week in case I missed an upload on a Friday, which can help with staying consistent if that's your thing. But for me, it felt like I was reporting to someone, so I told her that I would post whenever the video was ready. I didn't, and still don't like the idea of giving anyone power over my choices about this thing, including my mom, except for my audience. So even if it's not the right thing to do, I intend to keep it a mystery for a little longer, at least until I hit the mark to qualify for monetization. I'd rather seek feedback from the comments, from you guys who don't know me in real life, and have no interest in either loving me or hating me, which takes us to the next card in the glad column. I've come to realize that comments are an absolute goldmine. In fact, I think this is the only thing that matters in terms of understanding your audience and building a business around it. Being an ex-product manager, I think I should have known this from the start, as it was my literal job to figure out the pain points of customers through feedback. But as the Turkish proverb goes, a tailor cannot sew his own rip. Honestly, I'm surprised how thoughtful and kind 95% of YouTube comments are, both on my channel and other people's channels. This is especially the case for long-form videos based on my observation. I did experiment with shorts for a bit, but I had noticeably more dislikes and more negative comments on them compared to the long-form videos, which I think is a testament to the difference between the demographics of short-form and long-form viewers. But on long-form, people tend to appreciate the effort and share their own stories if they relate to the video, which creates a cycle of improvement for both sides and creates this bond that feels like actual friendship. I'd like to take this moment to thank you all for taking the time to share your thoughts, stories, and feedback. That's what's been fueling my ambition and keeping me going, and I think any YouTuber who's watching this would agree with this statement. So really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm not sure if I've been making the most out of comments so far, but I'm definitely being more intentional with them going forward. The things I will try to do, and I recommend to the creators out there, are to read every comment as many times as it takes to internalize it, break it down to pieces, and understand why that person chose to use those specific words among the hundreds of other words they could have used, and write a response that addresses all of their points. What I realize about myself is that I need to sleep on my responses before sending them, because the first thing I write is usually quite surface level and doesn't do justice to what the commenter has shared. Also, a no-brainer that I haven't done is to leave comments under the videos of similar channels, addressing similar problems. This allows you to get more exposure to your target audience and connect with them, even if they haven't seen any of your videos yet. Anything you do, any video or course or product that you offer, should be shaped around the comments, which represents a subset of your customers. I'll detail this a bit more towards the end of this video. Starting this channel was easily one of the best decisions I've ever made. You've heard the phrase, just start, from 1,000 different people, but here's a little backstory for you to see why it's been so life-changing for me. I moved from Ankara to Amsterdam with my girlfriend a little over 3 years ago. For such a long time, our goal has been to start a new life somewhere else, somewhere more stable and where we can make more money. At the time, we both had decent jobs in tech, me in product management and her in sales, so we were quite comfortable. She's still working there and loves it, but I'd started feeling a deep sense of purposelessness in that comfort, just a few months after moving. My job had become quite monotonous. I didn't want to learn anything anymore. I didn't want to grow in any way. I didn't even want to move to the US as a next destination, which has been one of my biggest dreams my entire life. I had no goal and no clue as to what I wanted next. It felt like that was it, honestly. It was the peak of my life, and I would keep living like this forever. So in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Amsterdam, with more money than I'd ever earned coming into my bank account every month, I found myself at one of the lowest points in my life. Looking back now, I know moving wasn't the answer. The thing that pulled me out of that depression has been dreaming of a life that I'd want for myself, not for anyone else, and setting a goal that would get me one step closer to living that life. The foundation of this channel, and whatever it will evolve to in the future, was built at that time. After almost 2 years of getting ready and saving for it, I'm glad I took the leap. I'm glad I chose pain, growth, and my intrinsic ambitions over money. There are definitely smarter ways to do what you love and make good money, and that would be the better choice for most of you watching. But in my case, I just had to step away to be able to do anything else. Getting my time back and planning my days according to my goals has allowed me to take the baby steps towards building my life's work, and also do things like going to the gym regularly, which, again, can be done while you're still working. But I couldn't get myself to do it. I turned 30 last week, and I'm feeling happier, healthier, and smarter than ever, and I will make this the best decade of my life. So if you have a dream yourself, just start. It's the only way to see what you're capable of. With that being said, I had accumulated only 1 year of savings before quitting my job, and I have 6 months of runway remaining. I know there are things that I must change in order to keep doing this full time. We'll talk about all of those in this video, but regardless, if I ever have to go back to 9 to 5, I'll probably save double the money this time and do it all over again. But now, let's get to the good stuff, what didn't go so well. The first is consistency, obviously. I think about this channel every waking moment, but does that make me a full-time creator? For every 100 things I think about, I write 10 things, and maybe post 1, if even. I like to take my time with things. I think and move slowly, and my girlfriend calls me a sloth for that. So quality over quantity comes naturally to me. Even if I want, I can't help but get lost in tiny details, which can be a good thing depending on the situation, but it's also pretty time-consuming. As a result, it takes me at least a week to finish a video on the shorter side, and 2 weeks to make a decent one around 6 to 8 minutes that I feel good about. But YouTube is a business, and it values creators who treat it as such. This doesn't mean that I have to post every day. I mean, there are channels posting once every year and still getting millions of views. But I definitely get more impressions when I post frequently. I imagine that's because I'm still in people's recent watch history, so my new video gets recommended to them because it's similar to what they watched. So have I been consistent? This is my 27th long-form video, and I'm still posting, so yes, kind of. But if I discovered my channel as someone who doesn't know me, would I think I was a full-time YouTuber? No. Do I think this is what going all in looks like? Absolutely not. Not that I don't work enough. I mean, I try to get 6 to 10 hours of deep work every weekday, but I don't think I have created as much as I could have. There are a lot of topics that I could have covered, but they're waiting in my backlog to be prioritized after some shiny objects that I'm chasing. More on that later. I need to find ways to share more of what I write, and write more of what I think. Using the community tab seems to be a gateway to do this, so I'll try to post some of my ideas there to get early feedback from you guys. Next, ideation. On YouTube, there are 2 types of videos. Growth videos, which cater to a larger audience, that are packaged with broad appeal and are intended to bring in new viewers. And nurture videos, which aren't necessarily about highly interesting topics, but include more personal stories and convert viewers into lifelong fans and friends, like this video that you're watching. I fucking hate researching for what already works and trying to put my own twist on it. To me, this is what turns YouTube into a sea of the same videos and takes away all the fun and creativity of the process. I'm aware that the internet is a giant mix, and this is something that I have to do in order to grow fast, but I just can't keep myself from resisting it. So I almost exclusively made nurture videos so far, which were planned around what I felt like talking about. And as a result, my growth has been painfully slow, and it's been hard to stay motivated to keep going. Especially when there were no comments, so please leave comments if you want me to keep doing this, please. Making videos you want to make is totally fine if you're in the content creation game for the art of it, but I must turn this into a business, which puts me in this massive creator's dilemma. If I had unlimited time and money, I would definitely create whatever I wanted. But now that I've used half of my savings, I know that I have to grow faster. I know the hours I spend will be wasted if nobody cares about the topic. So I'll try to put more thought and research into choosing which ideas should become videos and which ones should remain in the backlog. I need the views now, and I can't afford to quit this. It's the only way to lose this game. Alright, Outliers. Just a disclaimer, this card doesn't refer to the outliers from other channels as in the previous card, but my own collection of videos. So far, I've made 2 outlier videos with around 1.5k and 2k views. I guess I can call them outliers in my own standards. My original plan, which I should have stuck with, was to post the feedback video and end it with a CTA to gather more feedback. Stop posting and study outliers and feedback to double down on what worked, and come back with a strategy that's built around these insights. Then I got excited by other video ideas and spent weeks producing them, which had no solid strategy or validation behind them. This made me lose momentum and stagnate for the past 2 months. There's really not much to say about this, but the key takeaway is, wins and failures are useless if you don't learn from them. Next, packaging and intro. YouTube is 80% title, thumbnail, and the first 30 seconds. The title and thumbnail have only 2 jobs: grab the viewer's attention among hundreds of other videos, and create so much curiosity that they need to click. My channel click-through rate is around 3%, which can and should be improved to around 8 to 10%. At least that's what I set myself as a benchmark, although it's quite ambitious. One of the biggest mistakes you can make as a YouTuber is to write a script, finish the video, and put together a title and thumbnail just before posting it. I knew this from the start. Every single guru talks about it, yet I still find myself creating the thumbnail just before posting my video. I have a tendency to ship the video as soon as it's finished, and since I can always change the title and thumbnail, I go ahead and post it. What this does is waste those initial impressions that are coming from my subscribers. And since even my subscribers don't click on the video, YouTube thinks it's shit and stops giving me impressions. I feel I'm getting better at this, at least the way I approach packaging, but there's still a lot of room to improve for sure. The intro also has only 2 jobs. Validate the click in the first 5 seconds by showing the viewer that this is the video that they wanted to watch, and earn their attention in the next 25 seconds by creating a lot of questions, and promising that the video answers all of them, so that they keep watching. Here's what Mr. Beast has to say about YouTube intros.
I have to show so much at the start. And I have to I have this 10-second window to convince someone. I did this. I swear to God, I did it. I swear, I promise. Here's proof. I did it. You know what I mean?
People just assume that everything is clickbait now, so I understand that this has to be done. I just think it's sad that it's so black or white and determines 80% of any video's success. I typically lose 40% of viewers in the first 30 seconds of a video. This is down from 60%, so there's improvement, but still, 40% of viewers is a lot of viewers. What seems to work for packaging and intros from what I've seen is big, bold, and extreme claims in the title, a thumbnail that complements the title by giving additional context, a first line that immediately hooks the viewer, presented with visuals that are a continuation of the thumbnail, and an intro that summarizes the entire video without revealing too much. Will I do all of this? I don't know. I don't like how engineered this is, so I might as well keep crying about it. Man, editing is what turns this into a job. It's easily the most time-consuming part of content creation for any creator that I've seen, including myself, and usually the first thing to outsource as soon as you make some money to invest back in the business. But does it even matter? I mean, some of you seem to like the editing style, but some of you are more interested in the script. When I watch videos like mine, I'm more interested in the script. Does the time and effort spent editing lead to 80% of the results? Probably not. To me, editing meant finding GIFs, stock footage, Wojak videos, investing in an iPad and drawing everything myself, and spending hours moving the text on screen a millimeter to the side. But if my goal as a content creator building a business is to allocate time blocks in the most optimal way to get the most dollars back for the least time spent, this is definitely not the way to do it. It's also a massive bottleneck on consistency. So then, how can I make this as lean as possible? I'll try not to use visuals unless they're absolutely necessary to get the message across. I'll experiment with no copyright gaming footage and talking over it, and I'll challenge myself to spend no more than 1 day on editing. But please let me know what you think, because what matters is what you want to see. Next column, the things that made me frustrated in myself, the mad. First, shiny object syndrome. Pick one thing and focus on it for fuck's sake. I deprioritized posting videos here for a couple of weeks in order to finish my book, which could take months, so that I'd fix the leaky bucket and have an actual offer to sell to the people who found my channel. Then I changed my mind, because although capitalizing on the attention is a must in this business, such a gap would basically kill my channel. I also created 2 more channels last month, both faceless automation, and posted a total of 5 videos on them. This cost me about 2 weeks of effort, although one of the channels is actually picking up. I created an Etsy store to sell some art and then closed it because my listings were removed. And just a couple of days ago, I got super excited about building a software company, which could actually be sick, and almost quit this channel to focus on it entirely for the next 6 months. This is a pattern that I keep falling into. Ideas emerge, I create business plans, set up social media accounts, and buy domains for these things. But as corny as it sounds, you can do anything, but not everything. With this channel, I already have a foundation and an understanding of what works. I already have over 200 people who somehow relate to my ideas, and I already have some sort of validation for the problems that I can solve. There's no point in looking elsewhere. I choose Hanush and I will make it work. And last but definitely not the least, the biggest mistake. The mistake that can waste years of your life on YouTube. The mistake that would have guaranteed failure if I hadn't wrapped my head around it. The who. All winners in the social media game have designed their entire content system to target one specific persona, answering either one of these questions. Who do I need a crowd of to buy the solution that I sell? Or who do I need a crowd of so that brands pay me for my audience to buy the solution that they sell? This not only applies to content creation, but to any business that intends to survive. You need a very clearly defined niche and persona in order to come up with a strategy, stay the course over time, and get rewards for your efforts. It's normal not to get rewards at the beginning, or struggle with what your niche is, because this is the time and energy investment stage. You build momentum, build skills, get to understand your audience, and put in the early reps to improve and learn the game. This is required for anyone doing anything. This is good. What's a huge mistake is when you're strategically misaligned from your goal and you're just doing something, not sure why you're doing it. In that case, whatever effort you put in will be misdirected, and it's not going to move the needle. I was in the good, now I'm in the bad. I should have been rigorous about making videos catered to my ideal viewer persona. Even if I just wanted to make a certain video knowing that it would flop, I should have made sure that it still relates to my ideal viewer somehow. Not that I haven't figured out who that person is, I actually have, but I didn't ask myself how a certain video I wanted to make would help that person. I mean, who's this video for, man? How does my ideal viewer relate to this? I wanted to make it because that's something I struggled with in the past, and then I justified it with some research. Just look at the average views of this channel. Now look at this video. And no offense to the creator, I honestly thought I could condense it to 4 to 5 minutes and just make a better video in general. I didn't expect this video to take off immediately because my hypothesis was that it would be a search-based video. And that actually turned out to be the case. But what I'm left with is a confirmed hypothesis, fewer than 200 views, and a video that doesn't really fit with the brand that I'm trying to create. The bottom line is, nothing really matters until you figure this out, and do everything you do with this person in mind. Before we wrap up, let me ask this question about our primary means of connection. I've been using an AI clone of my own voice the entire time. Some of you seem to love it, where some of you find it a little boring. And Reddit seems to hate AI voices in general. The reason why I used an AI voice clone for my voiceovers was to speed up the production process, but I've actually come to realize that it could be doing more harm than good. It may have been contributing to the initial drop-offs in all of my videos, and potentially hurting trust. So I'll experiment with mixing my own narration with the same AI voice clone, using the speech-to-speech function of ElevenLabs, like I'm doing in this sentence.
Or cancel my subscription entirely and switch to my own voice, like I'm doing in the sentence.
Let me know which one you prefer, or if you care at all. And if you want to try cloning your voice, I added my affiliate link in the description. So then, what's next for me and Hanush? I'm actually going all in for the remaining 6 months of my dream-chasing year. And this time, I'm doing it right. No distractions, no shiny objects, no random ideas. Just focusing on the optimal set of audience, platform, format, and messages to earn the most rewards with the least amount of time spent. This is no different than working for a company that focuses on solving one problem, which happens to be my own company. So if you are this person, you will find something on this channel that will touch your life and help you in some way. I was in the exact same situation as you, watching videos like this, but look at me now, setting goals and taking calculated risks. It may or may not work for me, it may or may not work for you, but I guarantee you, setting a destination and marching towards it will be the best thing you've done for yourself in your entire life. The upsides are so vast that even if you fail, you'll be miles ahead of where you started. I do have an email list where I plan to share stuff like this, so feel free to go to my website and subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you here for years to come.